What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Undefeated. So they're calling this one a Mosaic, Citra and Simcoe-hopped plus Phantasm IPA. Comes in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old. And I want to give a huge thanks, shout out once again to Hop Butcher for this beer. So big thanks to them. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with. And I'm always excited to get a lower ABV hop forward beer from them. 6.5% IPA, Mosaic, Citra and Simcoe, but Phantasm. And Phantasm's been one of those things in hop forward beers that has been kind of disappointing to me personally, because more often than not, the nose is amazing when Phantasm is used, and I always find that the taste is always a bit of a letdown. So I'm hoping that's not the case here. You know, there's first time for everything, and hopefully it comes through a little bit more here in the taste, or at least it's not a letdown from the nose. So yeah, always like the artwork from Dan Jutsa. And yeah, let's crack this one open and get it into the glass. See what we got going on here. Like I said, really excited about this one. Always like the lower ABV Hop Butcher beers. You know, I mean, their double IPAs are 7.5%. A lot of people are like, are those really double IPAs? They can say whatever they want. I guess it's double IPA, maybe not, who knows. But as far as like lower ABV beers, when I get like a 6% IPA or 6.5% IPA from them, I'm always excited because most of their stuff is a bit bigger. So yeah, that has that. You know, I haven't used this in a while, but like that turkey gravy kind of look to it. Just deep, dark, like almost like the innards of like a honeydew melon or something, or like a cantaloupe, right? It just has that darker kind of look to it. 2 finger of a really creamy looking head, murky and turbid. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, you can't see through that. It's a good nose. Wow. Is that the Phantasm? It has to be, right? Because what Phantasm is a thiol derived from, I believe, white grapes, and a specific kind of, always forget the name, and I'm not going to sit here and just make one up, but I think it's white grapes. And what it does is it makes the nose more substantial in terms of like tropical fruit character. You get more, a little bit of that white grape and whatnot. It's just, for a 6.5% beer, this is like just blowing me away in terms of the aromatics. There's candied citrus. There's like a lot of like tangerine orange, blood orange. But then there's a zestiness there too. Like it's almost like you're smelling like a fresh glass of orange juice. And then I'm getting like, what the fuck is that? Mango, passion fruit, that white grape I was talking about. This, to me, there's a little bit of pineapple, and what this kind of reminds me of is like classic like Galaxy for me, that like a Galaxy Nelson beer where I'm getting crushed pineapple, passion fruit, and then into that like white grape, white wine, gooseberry. Like it's definitely big. It's a little bit of like a soft pine resin too. Nondescript herbaceous dankness, dare I say. Wow, this is super impactful nose-wise for something that, again, is 6.5%. This, if I was doing this blind and I couldn't see the beer or how it poured, and even if I did, like I would say this is like an 8.5, 9% double IPA. It's that big. Like I've had worse triple IPA noses in terms of the intensity. This smells fucking dynamite. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Hop Butcher. So, is the taste a letdown from the nose? Yes. It is not a substantial letdown like it is in a lot of the Phantasm beers. There is a really nice, like, kind of sweet citrus slash kind of white grape sweetness on this. Body in this one's like medium, touch over medium, 6.5%, so bigger than you anticipate. The mouthfeel has more carbonation than a lot of Hop Butcher beers, have typically. It does have a slight soft, kind of smooth creaminess to it. But I've noticed they're sub 7.5%, beers where it's just single IPAs, pale ales. The mouthfeels typically aren't as great, and that makes sense, right? The lower the ABV, it's tough to make that, really soft, smooth, crazy kind of mouthfeel when it's lower ABV. It's still really nice. The taste though, the nose falls over. It's sweet, candied, but yet zesty kind of citrus. It's like it's like you're right from the palate. It's almost like you just took a swig of a glass of orange juice, right? But then after that, you're getting like the pithy, zesty kind of rind from the citrus fruit itself, from an orange or tangerine. Passes through, I get pineapple. mango, sweeter, over-ripened, almost crushed pineapple. Midway through the palate, though, the beer changes in a great way. It goes from like that, it goes sweet, little less sweet, and then it kind of transitions. It has that white grape, but it's almost like a white grape kind of tannin, kind of dryness. And that carries on through the back of the palate, and I get hit with this like dank, piney, almost herbaceous kind of feeling. Almost like a new school meets old school kind of hazy, where you're getting that like piney kind of kick on the back of the palate, but all this, complex citrus and tropical and stone fruit is what you're kind of looking for in a beer like this. Finishes with a little bit of dryness. I think the one knock on this one, it is 6.5%. I'd like to see a little bit more of bitterness. It finishes semi-dry, but there's a very mild pop of bitterness. Because I associate typically piney kind of characteristics more with like a bittering component, I would want to see a little bit more of a bittering component out of this one. But for a 6.5% IPA, this is fucking delicious. I'm pouring the rest of my glass here. See if there's any goodies. I store these upside down now with Hop Butcher. So many times the sediment gets caked at the bottom, and then at the end you're just pouring out globs of shit. So I've been keeping them upside down so that they kind of like a heavily fruited sour, so that doesn't happen. That didn't happen here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be as much on the bottom, so that's good. Anyway, one more sip, and we're going to give a rating. 6.5%, you really can't tell. Yeah, it's, man, a little bit of like a slightly tart passion fruit too. As now I took another sip and just kind of thinking about, is there anything I'm missing here? No, I mean, it's fruity. There's a complex fruit characteristic, this one. Again, I think this would get a little bit of a higher score if it had some kind of like moderate bitterness to keep this in check, because even at 6.5%, I think I'm probably one and done, maybe 2 cans, but like if you're drinking 6.5% IPA and you buy a 4-pack, you kind of want to probably take the entire thing to the dome piece. So the drinkability is hindered a little bit for me personally with the lack of a substantial bitterness. So anyway, Undefeated from Hop Butcher. We're going to do tasting notes in a second. I have no issues giving this beer right here a high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.35. If there was a substantial bitterness, this is a 4.5 out of 5 all day for me. As is, this is, my friends, really tasty for a sub 7% IPA. Oh yeah, tasting notes. Juicy tropical. Yeah, I mean, I said, tastes like orange juice. I've mentioned tropical fruit, so juicy tropical, yes. Pleasant and dank. Yeah, the dankness is pleasant. I would say more like herbaceous dank, or something like that, or a lot of times they put dank berry when they say dank, but I'm all right with that. And pleasant pine, yeah. So yeah, I agree with them. I mean, there's pine, there's dank, there's juicy tropical. Yeah, I think they pretty much nailed that for what I got anyway. Price point availability, this is Hop Butcher, so who knows, but if you buy it in the Chicago area, typically these are like 15, 16 bucks a 4-pack. If it makes distro, which by the time you see this is probably gonna be 2 months old, and I think this one did make distro. I thought I saw some friends of mine on Untapped and in the beer tubing community. I think they were able to pick some of these up. I would imagine $18, $20 a 4-pack for a 6.5% IPA. That's what I would be hoping you'd pay. If there's places gouging in, $24 or $26 or $28 a 4-pack, I wouldn't. That's just ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't be that much. It's a 6.5% IPA. It's not a double IPA. It's not a triple IPA. You shouldn't be breaking the bank to try a can or even a 4-pack of this. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. I get excited when I get again, sub 7% hop forward beer from Hop Butcher that kind of hits the nail on the head with this one. Again, I would go a little bit more crazy if there was more of a bitterness to kind of restrain the sweetness. It's not cloying, it needs a little bit more balance. So at the end of the day, it's really good though. So anyway, appreciate it. Thanks again to Hop Butcher. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers. 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 Cheese. Cheers. Cheers.